Welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. I'm Berney Flowers, one of Uncle Sam's wayward sons, and I'm here to sort through the problems that America has. So if you're into protecting freedom and correcting bad government policy, and you want to make sure that our nation stays on track, I hope that you will hit like, share, and subscribe on your computer or your device. The bottom line is we're trying to do good things for America, and you are helping. So now let's dive in. Today we have a guest, and our guest is somebody that you may very well know. I don't know if you've ever heard of Miss Lucretia Hughes. She has about 50,000 followers across social media. She's on a live broadcast pretty much every day.
Here we go, she's on 5 to 7, 9 to 10 p.m. Fallback Productions. Talks about topics of the day and loves her country, the U.S. of A. Got her Get Right rally on tax day. Got family country, Trump is her thing. Keeps us in the loop. Don't you know, sit back and enjoy the Lucretia Hughes Show.
And I've been on her show, and we have great fun talking about the issues of the day. And so, with that said, Lucretia, how are you doing?
How you doing, Berney?
I am outstanding. How about you?
Well, it's pretty cold in Georgia, and y'all need to come down here and get your weather because it's not supposed to be this cold in the South.
Did y'all get snow?
Yes, we did. I actually went out there for a little while and ran back in the house. It's pretty, but not for a 50-year-old. If I sneeze wrong, I might throw my back out.
Look, I'm 10 years older than you. I ain't want to hear none of that. Shoot. Let me tell you, Lucretia is a candidate for the board of the National Rifle Association, the advisory board. Lucretia has testified before Congress on Second Amendment issues. She's out there fighting for you. Bottom line is, for those few people that might not know exactly who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself before I ask you all these questions.
When people normally ask me that, listen, I'm just a regular woman with no power, but the power that God gave me. I have a gift for gab, and I love to read. So I'm just someone that loves to go around the country, talk about God, family, country, and the support of Donald J. Trump and why we're a constitutional republic. And I just feel like God ordained me to go that way. And I'm always bring God up in my topics because without him, I would be a nobody. And without him in America, we wouldn't be anybody. So I just go around the nation when I'm asked to go and speak at any kind of event or group or rally or convention. I get up there and I tout about the four things I support the most, and that's God, family, country, and President Donald J. Trump.
I love the way that sounds. Amen. How's Dave? How's he doing?
He's doing pretty good. I mean, he's got a beanie on, and we're on the inside, but it's cold in Georgia. And then we're getting ready to go to Florida tonight because I'm going down there giving 2 speeches in the next 3 days. So we're headed way even more south than we are right now in Georgia.
Well, the last time I was on your show, me and Dave had a wonderful conversation. You were off in Dallas doing some NRA stuff, and he put me on the mic, and we just had a ball. So when you see him, I know you're probably looking right at him. Tell him I said, hey.
I just wait.
Well, look, here's the bottom line. President Trump is keeping his promises. He is not playing. I mean, the first day, how many executive orders did he sign?
I think it was 187. It was close to like the 200 mark. But what he signed is turning the winds of change in America from becoming a globalist society back to the founding fathers envisioned for us all those many years ago. So Trump knows the meaning of being American, being America first, and also not about the globalists. So right now, with the executive orders that he has actually signed, I wished a lot of them would become law. We know that an executive order can be wiped away by the next president that gets into the Oval Office. some of these majority of President Trump and what he has signed, from overhauling FEMA to getting rid of unelected bureaucrats, from taking away a lot of regulations, from drilling, baby, drilling, and shutting down the southern border. Plus, we are promised never to have digital currency because cash is king. Now, if our Congress and our Senate get together, or the House of Representatives and the Senate get together and actually sign the digital banking into law, that would be great. So I hope he actually do it.
Well, you mentioned about the immigration stuff. I mean, bottom line is curtail immigration at the southern border. That's one of his big things, his executive orders. And, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the National Guard and the Marines are there. They've just been, they released the hounds. So tell us what you
Not an
know about that.
immigration. This is not immigration. This is an invasion. Now, if you want to come over here legally, we have the steps, we have the ports of entry, we have the tests. Get in line. But when you flood over our southern border, that is illegal. Now, I have a bleeding heart. I have empathy and sympathy. But when you coming over here, and majority of these people, let's just take Joe Biden, for example, from 2021 all the way to 2024, over 21 million illegal soldiers walked across the southern border, and they was given free housing, free phones, free everything else, when our own veterans, our own elderly, and our own citizens can't get this stuff. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Why are we taking our money away from FEMA, from Social Security, from all these different programs that's supposed to be guaranteed to the American citizens and the veterans from within, and actually babysitting criminals from another country? They are criminals. I don't care if you're pregnant and you squatted in the desert. The only person that's legal is that child. Now, if you don't like the rules of America, do you know what? You take your child, you go over there, and you actually do it the right way. If your child is a DACA kid and is out here protesting in the street, this is what I'm saying to those kids also. Go back with your family. You're legal. They're not. Then you do it the right way. We have laws and procedures in America. I know Democrats and Republicans love to shout that we're a democracy, but no, sir, we are a constitutional republic. We may vote like a democracy, but mob don't rule.
Well, talk about this thing. Let's go to birthright citizenship, which is a topic related to that. Let me guess. You're probably not for birthright citizenship, are you?
No. Now, if my kids birth into rights, they are American citizens. So my grandchildren will be American citizens, because you have a hard time in your country, and you know that we're supposed to be the land of opportunity, milk and honey, if you want to say it that way. And there's so many opportunities. Then give it to the American citizens. Now, listen to this. This is where I'm getting it at with the DACA kids, because we heard them run their mouth off a lot during Donald J. Trump. We saw them coming to the streets waving their own flags. We saw them burning our flags and spitting on our flags. So eventually, you do not respect American way of life. You don't respect America. And if you don't respect America, go back to your homeland. Now, I know America is your homeland, and you don't want your family, your mom and dad to leave. Then you leave with them and go back and be with your own natural born country that they was born into. So coming here demanding stuff from the American citizens need to stop. We don't owe you nothing.
Ooh, boy. We think so much alike. Yeah, I'm sitting here laughing because it's like a comedy routine to me, because it's like a sister that I just met, like we were raised in the same house or something.
We can go to any sanctuary city, and you will find more homeless veterans on the street. You'll find more homeless American citizens on the street, while we're seeing MS-13, all these gangs, all these drug gangs, all these cartels going into these major cities and small town and wrecking the place, either pillaging, murdering, robbing, looting, the whole nine. So we can't tell the difference. We don't know what you're here to do. So if you got the mind frame came to already break our laws, you're going to tell your children they don't have to respect our laws either. So with the kids coming out here demanding anything from us, then you take your tail home and be with your mom and dad, and y'all build your own a generational wealth together, and not in America. Because a lot of these illegals come over here, make the money here, don't pay the taxes here, but go to Western Union really fast and send their money back home. So if you're looking at the stats and the numbers that comes out through Western Union and how much was sent to foreign countries from these illegals, it's over $56 billion. And if it's over $56 billion, y'all could take care of your damn selves and let us take care of the people with inside of America. Get out.
You can say that again. Hey, I got another question for you. This is on another subject, though, but I know you're going to love it. Declassifying files. I understand that the good president has signed an executive order, and he's going to declassify the files related to John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King. So that means the deep state has got to be on the run. What do you think about that?
Well, most of them are already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go ahead and say that. That's the same thing they was going to try to do with the scamdemic COVID shot and also the origins of COVID. We wasn't going to find anything out for 75 years until a federal judge slapped that down. But right now, the key people are dead. But there's the bloodline that's still alive, and that's the Bush clan. So if we know for a fact, ain't no conspiracies, and I'm not throwing my hands up, the Cold War, who was part of the CIA? Bush Sr. Then when you start looking at RFK, JFK, hell, we could put MLK up in there. It seemed like the Bush clan had a little sprinkle all over the place. And when you find out about Prescott, and I just found out about Prescott Bush, he was corrupt even when he was a senator. So you got to start looking at the people and the family and the lineages that murdered our president, his brother, and one of the civil rights leader of our great time, and find out they made money off of it. They didn't go to jail for it. So since they offsprings are still alive and we know they still spending that money, they go ahead and snatch that money from them and let them go to jail.
Speaking of going to jail, what about these blanket pardons that old Biden sent out? I mean, he pardoned his whole dang old family for going back to 2014, and even Fauci, even Millie. What's up with that?
Gitmo, hell, Gitmo. They ain't gonna escape God's judgment. They're not gonna escape. And after what Donald Trump just did maybe an hour ago, took the security detail from Fauci, he's a sitting duck. Ain't no, hey, 2 tears in a bucket. He done got, and he has slaughtered so many people since the AIDS epidemic all the way to the scamdemic with the gain of function. I don't cry for him, Argentina. Don't cry for him, America. He need to go down just like Bill Gates, tampering with our food. He need to go down just like Klaus Schwab with the World Economic Forum. He need to go down just with the WHO and the rest of them that systematically tried to take over the United States from within. And anybody out there that's on the side of these barbarians need to go to hell.
There you go. Well, you kind of mentioned a little bit about these vaccines, and Fauci, you ain't going to like this question, but I got to ask it anyway. Now, I think it's called AIMRNA vaccine target. They're supposed to be, targeting cancer, but Bill Gates is involved. Trump signed an executive order on it. I don't know if you know anything about that, but what can you tell us if you do?
My daddy name was Jimmy Sylvester Strobel. Enough said. I don't care who signed what. I don't care if it's warping of the speed through the galaxy of a wormhole. I don't care if Elon Musk offered $1 million. I'm not dying suddenly until God calls me home, and I'm not injecting anyone that we know. Hindsight is 2020. mRNA changes your DNA. So I don't give two rats patooey what they come up with. They can stick it up their anus.
Woman, boy, you take the word right out of my mouth. Good Lord, I don't know what to say.
Baby. I'm a pure blood, everything in me. I didn't need a scientist. I didn't need an expert. God gave me common sense. God gave me smart. He gave me to tell the difference between right and wrong. I am blessed with a spirit of discernment. So when I said I wasn't going to take the jibbity jab, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. So I could care less what they come up on the market. You will never coerce me, bully me, or make me obey to take anything I don't want to. I've never been a slave. I will not become anybody's slave. And I know that anything that Fauci, Bill Gates, the World Economic Forum, the WHO, the CDC is not for my good.
You know, I'm just as contrarian as you are. I didn't take that jab, and a lot of our friends didn't. And now we're all glad that we didn't. And there's a lot of people who took the jab that seem to be upset.
I watched my father perish in my bedroom. I watched him have a massive stroke, could not drink, could not swallow, could not talk, could not eat. They said he needs to be put in a hospice. What you want to do? I said, you're going to send him home because he's not going to die in that hospital alone. You tell me how in the world I went and looked at his records from the VA in October of last year, or 2022. 2023 in October, he had nothing. But in the middle of March, he had super cancer that had spread throughout his body. And when they finally did the CAT scan with contrast, there was so many lesions that was bleeding from his brain all the way to his thighs. Somebody better explain it. And the only thing that I could come up with, he took both of the original shots in all 5 boosters.
That is not a good way to die. I mean, that's just terrible, and he deserved better than that.
Love. He died around people that loved him. He died around his first wife, his grandchildren, his son-in-law, and I made sure that he knew, Daddy, you're loved. Daddy, do you know who Jesus is? Daddy, do you know about John 3:16 and Romans 10:9 and 10? Because I want to make sure when I die, I see you again. And those tears rolled down the side of his face. And I know no matter what happened to my father, I am going to see him on the other side.
We will all see each other. We are believers. But I got another question for you.
Go ahead.
National, you're going to like this one. Drill, baby, drill. One of the executive orders was national energy emergency, ordering expedited and deregulated drilling. You know, the bottom line is we're going to get our oil, and then price is going to go down. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with the Keystone Pipeline to begin with. If it's underneath our ground, it's our property. So why would we want stuff from Saudi? Why would we want anything from the EAU? Why would we want anything from China when we became, under President Donald Trump, his first term, energy dependent upon ourselves? And then all of a sudden, when Joe Biden gets back in office, we're back to the globalist mindset where he sent so much of our strategic oil reserve overseas and left us pretty much almost high and dry, just like he did with our military, just like he did with our weaponry. It's like he was trying to crush us from within. So the only people that we could depend on would have been the UN and NATO, which means it was going to usher in the New World Order. And I truly believe that. And I truly believe that is why Donald Trump decided to sign a lot of these executive orders going against anything that the New World Order was getting ready to establish. One world currency. Ain't no digital currency no more. We need to make that a bona fide fact that cash will always be king in America. Our trading a deficit, we ain't got to worry about that. Pay your own fair share and you're going to pay these dango tariffs. And drill, baby, drill. Because when we become energy dependent upon ourselves, we no longer have to look at Mexico, Canada, or even the EAU or the Saudis. But I appreciate the Saudis stepping in. And Trump is saying that they are offering $600 billion for new technology, new businesses and partnerships with America. No, round that up to $1 trillion so we can all be spontaneously prosperous together.
I love the sound of that. Speaking of all that drill, baby, drill, Trump signed an executive order on the Paris Climate Treaty, getting us out of it. What do you think about that?
Number one, we was the biggest payers. We are the biggest pocketbook holders of everybody in the world. It did nothing for us. Nothing. We was paying. And I always say like this, why are we paying for rich people problems because my broke tail ain't sitting there tearing a hole in the ozone. I don't have a yacht. I don't have a jet. We have a Pontiac Vibe. So if you're telling me my Pontiac Vibe and my White Rain hairspray is the one that is tearing up the stratosphere, you're a bold-faced lie. It was nothing but a money grab for the elite rich and their nepotism friends.
Well, I agree with you 100%. Let's talk about something else. DEI and all this mess. I said, I guess Trump said that there will be only two genders, male and female, recognized by the federal government. What do you think about that?
Well, number one, DEI, they didn't earn it. They didn't earn it. That's DEI. So the only thing I learned about DEI is they hate whitey. White man did this. White man did that. White man, colonization. That's all I heard. All I heard was you trying to bring back racism into the corporate arena, into schools. So the DEI, they didn't earn that. There is only 2 and maybe less than 1% of the population that might be hermaphrodites. But majority of us, we are male and female, and I never wanted to go along to play along, make believe with these dang old people. Now, if you want to be a dyke and a bull dyker, do you, boo boo? If you want to be a cross dresser, cross on. But for you to sit here and demand that I admit that a man can pop out a child, you got another thing coming. You better get these stretch marks. You better get all of the hot flashes. You better go through menopause. You better have a period where you bleeding for 7 days and still don't die for 40 years. Other than that, you ain't no woman. I said what I said.
Woman, you take all the words right out my mouth. I
don't mean no harm. I'm female. Y'all be rubbing too much down there. What's down there that y'all got to keep adjusting? I don't want to walk around and play, sword fighting as an elephant and going, because if I ever am a man for one day, I'm going to stand in the mirror and just go slap, 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 slap. And then I want to be back in my womanhood. I'm good.
Let's change the subject.
Go ahead.
Oh boy. I'm sorry.
What y'all doing? I mean, all the men is going to be like, y'all just going to jump around for no reason. Y'all ain't going to do nothing to the hair.
You stop. Listen. Okay. Federal workers. You didn't
go back to work.
Get your work. Oh, there's a lot of people that have been working from home and for a very, very long time. And I believe they've gotten used to that. And I can tell you from my time working, it was just 2022, though. I was still working for the federal government. And I knew some very, very senior people who had bought houses in other states. And they just like, I don't want to work in DC. I'm going to keep my job and I'm going to build me a big ass house. Excuse my language. And so now the chickens have come home to roost and all that stuff has got to change. So what do you think about that?
Hey, if they want to quit, let them quit. Somebody else need that job.
Well,
Get the people that really want to go do that job. Keep the people and hire the people that knows what a security clearance actually is. Once you hire the people that's actually American first and that's going to support the American agenda and not a globalist agenda, make these people come back to work. Majority of these people are making 6 figures.
yes.
Okay. You out here running off at the lip saying what you ain't gonna do. I then going back on the bread line and take somebody off the bread line that's more knowledgeable, have more experience, and go ahead and have that job. So I had people come on my page and say, I work for the federal government and there's nothing they could do and I don't have to go back to work. Well, you're fired. Now, how you like that?
How you like that? Well, here's another subject that I think you're going to get a kick out of, and I'm sure you got something to say about these J6 pardons. What about that?
The hostages are finally home.
There you go.
I called it what it was the day it happened. Maybe being hoodish and woodish, you can spot feds. Okay, being a black woman raised in the hood or at least lived in a hood for a very long time. I know what 5-0 mean. I know what feds look like. I know what the jump out boys were. So me sitting at home and everything in me, because we had been invited 4 different times by 4 different people to come stay with them and go to January the 6th. Everything in my spirit said, don't you go there. Number 1, it's too cold. Number 2, you don't like standing for a long period of time. Number 3, it's going to be an issue. And I'm sitting there and I am calling it When the bus on my buses started flowing in the day before, I said feds on that bus. I said federal as feds on that bus. Being a part of a phone call where there was 50 people on this phone call and they was saying what they was gonna do. And I sat there and I said, Dave said, hang up. Because I said, I'm not getting myself in that situation of what y'all trying to do. So to know that it was a federal election to begin with, to know that the feds and the CIA was involved. And then you had the left and some Republicans come out here and bash those people. Now, I've been in the Congress. I've been in the Capitol many times, taking tours, going in private rooms, going places that people can't go. Seeing the very first Supreme Court office, what is that? Wherever room when it was first made, that's all in the Capitol, if people don't know. So when you go look at the videos, it looked like a tour. They didn't tear up nothing.
No,
now, if it was
didn't.
a really federal election, they would have tore that place up. They really would have tore that. That wasn't torn up. But to know that Miriam Bowser and Nancy Pelosi was requested 10 separate times to have a military or National Guard or more police there, it seemed like they was trying to set it up to begin with. And then for the mainstream media to jump on that stupid narrative that Donald Trump told those people to charge up to the Capitol, they all should be fired or sued.
There you go. And you are correct. Trump asked for troops to come in, and it would have been standard practice for the troops from the National Guard from Virginia and from Maryland and the D.C. National Guard to come in. But Pelosi blocked it. So there needs to be some answers for that.
The J6 committee, those scallywags and ass Kissinger, to sit there and lie on people, to destroy evidence, to shred evidence, to only hear one particular side of what you wanted to hear. And now that we finally see in a lot of the evidence, all of them, I don't understand how Joe Biden thought a preemptive pardon would save them from an ass kicking.
Well, preemptive pardon. That's another thing I need to ask you about. So if you haven't done anything, why would you need to be pardoned?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. But we know for a bona fide fact, if you go and listen to Comer and Jim Jordan and all of them when they was doing their investigations, we know about the money laundering, bank accounts, the overseas things. We know about the domestic contacts when it comes to Sarah, Jane, Ashley, Biden, Hannah, all the rest of them. We know they was doing the pay to play. We know that the IRS whistleblowers came out in a committee hearing. They have all the proof they need. But here's the question. He went back to 2014. We know they was doing shady stuff way before then. And that only helps them at the federal level. It don't stop nothing at the state.
Well, let's go back to the security clearances. I mean, I met John Bolton a couple of times and I was not impressed. I mean, and a few, I knew a lot of these people in the intel business and, but the issue of the day is Trump took their security clearances away. What do you think about that?
Should have been. I put like this: when Trump was first in office and I was going to the executive building into the White House, one thing that Mike Pence, right-hand man, used to tell me that if you came in with Trump, you leaving with Trump. That's what Trump did. You come in there with him, you leaving, you losing your job right when he leave there. For these people to be career bureaucrats, career politicians, it need to stop. Brennan should have been had his national security taken a long time ago. Bolton should have been. You don't write books. You don't put classified information and different stuff in books and think that's gonna escape. But it's something about their countenance.
Yeah.
It's something about their eyes. It's something about their aura that they shouldn't have been trusted to begin with. All you had to do is listen to these people, start reading these people, and you knew they wasn't no dang on good to begin with. And I pray that Donald Trump finally recognized the snakes that's around him and start firing them immediately. Stop bringing on holdovers from Barack Obama area and the Bush clan area. These people are no dang gone good at all.
Well, look, let's talk about something else, and I know this is near and dear to your heart. These fires in California. Now, Trump told them months ago, told Gavin Newsom that they needed to clean up the underbrush in the fire before there would be a hot mess going on. And that's very much documented. But now, I mean, what did they had? 1,200 or 12,000 homes that got burned or something like that. I think it was 1,200, and 350 billion in counting in property damage. And if last I checked, 14 people died. And so, what are your thoughts about that? How could that all have been prevented?
Karen Bass need to go. She's another DE elected official. The fire
Mm-mm.
chief, they need to go. Newsom need to be recalled and make it stick this time. I think the mafia family needs to finally sit down because Nancy Pelosi ain't got too much long to stay on earth. And I think their legacy needs to stop. For California to be the world's fifth most powerful economy, they better not ask nothing from the federal government. Since they
Mm-mm.
created that mess, they need to fix that mess.
Well, how come that they getting all this attention, but there's people in North Carolina that are still suffering the effects from Hurricane Helene, and it's doggone cold in those mountains? I mean, how come FEMA hasn't taken care of them?
Money walk bullshit. I mean, one money talk bullshit walks. That's the rich side of the country. That's the rich side of. You think those rich people, those millionaires and billionaires, they got all those homes over there and paid millions of dollars for a square plot of land, is going to let this ride out? When
Mm-mm.
they talk, you listen. If you just go and swing that way, ever since the fire started, they really didn't focus on the man on the street, the poor people, the middle class people of California. They straight went to celebrities, politicians, millionaires, and billionaires. So when the millionaires and the billionaires started getting up in an uproar and started pushing back against Newsom, against Karen Bass, and against all these fires, because they lost a lot of stuff too,
They
and they
did.
realized enough is enough. When you look at the economy of California and you realize how much they give to illegals, how much priority they give to illegals and not California citizens, then you know what? You got to look at leadership. But when you're looking at people that cares more about fishes and moths and tree limbs than human beings, that's the problem right there. A fish that's smaller than a minnow. Child,
Snelling.
I would have threw it out there and let a bass ate it. Oh, her name is Karen Bass, and she's about to eat it all.
Well, why is it that the doggone reservoirs were empty? They didn't even have enough water pressure to turn on the hydrants. What's up with that?
Tree humpers, environmentalists, tree humpers. You don't do that, we don't want it. Yeah, explain that to me. You right there by the ocean. Explain where your water at and how you don't have any water in the system. What's up with that? You mean to tell me we have enough technology to develop drones and orbs with, gravitational pulsation of the get up in the sky, but you don't have the same gravitational pulsation to reverse suck the water out of the Pacific Ocean and help fight these fires?
It's funny you say that because I had some people on. One of my buddies is a fireman. I had him on, and he talked about the idea that, okay, if we couldn't get any water, fresh water, why didn't we use pumps to pump water up there from the ocean? And somebody said, well, that would be environmental damage. Environmental damage, you'd rather have 1,200 homes, burned down in the ground? You can work on the environment later, but the issue of the day is that is a desert. And people need to understand that there's going to be fires in the desert unless you take protective measures. But anyway, enough said. I have kept you up here long enough, and I know you got better things to do than talk to me. So talk to the people. Tell them whatever is on your mind. The floor is now yours.
Berney comes on my show. We do a nightly show, myself and my husband. It's called The Real News with Lucretia Hughes, where we take articles from all around the world, especially in America. And if it goes against God, family, country, or Trump, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I only care about the grassroots and American citizens. So that is what I'm going to focus on. You can find us Monday through Friday from 5 to 7 on 17 different platforms. You can just type my name in, jump into the show, because it's a live show. And as long as you're in the chat room, I will talk back with you. But I'm telling you now, if you're a troll, I'm a troll hunter, and your times have gone.
You hard on them trolls. I've seen you in action. Let me tell us a little bit about the NRA too. I know you're totally deeply involved with them, and they love you to death. So tell me a little bit about your involvement with them.
I've been a part of the NRA for the last 6 years on the bequest, believe it or not, of And I love it. I've been on the outreach committee. I'm on the outreach committee for 6 years. I've been on the nominating committee for the board of directors, and so this time around, I am now on the list on the ballot to be a board member of the NRA. From what everyone is telling me, when I am elected, because people are saying talk it into existence, I will be the very first Black female to ever hold position in the 100 and some odd year history of the NRA. One of the biggest ethnic groups, one of the biggest groups that are buying guns and learning and training right now is Black women, and also women period across the board. And I feel like that we are our own first responders. We seeing what's going on around the United States. We see what's going on around the world, and our Second Amendment right should stand firm. So I'm going to be an advocate for the rest of my life for the Second Amendment, no matter if I lost my son or not behind gun violence. That inanimate object did not murder my son. Another knucklehead dude did. Another 21-year-old thug decided to. But that has nothing to do with y'all protecting y'all selves. And as long as I'm on the board of directors or got a breath in my body, I'm going to continue to stand up for the Second Amendment, our Constitution, God, family, country, and Trump. So that is
Amen.
why. So I pray that if you are a voting member of the NRA, once the ballot comes out in February in all of the hunter magazines, all the gun magazines, please vote for Lucretia Hughes Kluken for the next board of director of the NRA.
I'll be voting for you.
Thank you.
I got another one for you.
What's up?
We are both affiliated with Veterans for America First. Tell us about your support for that organization.
My support for that organization is my support for the military, for the veterans. Everywhere I look in my bloodline, somebody was standing up for our country. I don't care if it's 2 out of the 3 fathers that I call daddy. I don't care if it was my grandfather. I don't care if it was my brothers, Marine and Navy. I don't care if it was my son, Air Force. I don't care if it was my sister, Army. I've had every military branch in my family for as long as I can remember, and even way before. So this is my nation, and I'm willing to fight for it. And so have my family, because we're not going anywhere else. So I'm a part of the Veterans for America First, is because I don't want to see another veteran set themselves on fire because they can't get the help they need. I don't ever want to see another veteran out on the street while we are housing illegals that don't belong here. I don't want to see another veteran leave the military and thinking they have no one to turn to. And I am so tired of everybody thinking this is Vietnam again and you can spit on the military and on our veterans, not over my body. It would have to be over my cold dead body. So as long as my veterans and my military is standing up for not only the oath, but against foreign and domestic, but stand up for our rights. When the shit hit the fan, I know it's going to be the military and the militia, and that is everyone that owns a gun. We're going to have to take matters into our own hand, and the militia and the military is our first and last arm of defense. So y'all will always have my respect. I will always go to bat for y'all because y'all go to bat for us.
Amen. One last question for you. I'm going to let you go. Are you ready? This is a big one.
Yes.
How does a Black woman become such a conservative as you?
You was raised that way.
Yeah.
We were raised that way. I don't care what a Black family thinks. You're not a Democrat. If you're a Black person, you was raised in a very conservative family where your grandmother had the Bible everywhere. Probably had a picture of the white Jesus on the wall. Had a photo of Martin Luther King, JFK, and RFK. They believed in God, they believed in family, and they believed in this country. And they fought hard and worked hard until that soil. So for everyone nowadays to say that, Black families aren't conservative, you are bold-faced lie. We learned about Jesus Christ before we learned about anything else. We learned about this nation before we learned about anything else. And if our forefathers can die for this country, then damn it, we can too.
Lucretia, you are my sister from another mother. I tell you, you are something else. I don't know how it took it long to catch up, but we are caught up now. I tell
Amen.
you, Thank you so much for coming on this program. You have just made my day. And I think there are a lot of people that are going to really love this. So just thank you so much. I can't wait to come back on your program, and I can't wait to have you back on mine.
Thank you. Well, you're gonna be back next week. So everybody, like I said, y'all continue supporting Berney. Y'all support his endeavors and the path, this powerful path God got him on. If y'all can see what my mind I see, Berney is the next leader. I don't care if it's in the North. I don't care if it's in the Northwest. I don't care if it's international or national wise. God made Berney for a time like this. And right now, Berney is taking up that cross and he is bearing the burden that so many people have let go in America, and he's trying to piece it back together. And as long as Berney continue to hold that fundamental foundation of where God is telling him to go, he is going to get there. And I'm going to be right beside him, lockstep.
Lucretia, your words honor me. I don't even know what to say, but all I can say is thank you.
Thank
So
you.
you take care of yourself. You take care of Dave. Y'all watch out for that snow and that cold down there in Georgia. And I look forward to the next time we can hang out and talk about politics. Whenever I get around you, I got somebody I can talk politics with. It is awesome.
Thank you, Berney, because I love it.
Amen. Well, y'all take care now. Well, that's about it for now. This has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast, produced in association with Fallback Productions and Veterans for America First. Please like, share, and subscribe as we try to grow the channel and protect America's middle class. Be sure to get your copy of my book, Black Values Matter, available as an ebook on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. And also, remember, it's okay to disagree. But if we want our country to prosper, we must insist on unity, transparency, and civility for ourselves and for our fellow citizens. Thanks for listening to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. We'll see you next week.